So I get this question pretty much every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And a lot of new investors come into the market. They say, Eric, what stocks do I buy now? Now, I teach an entire methodology. I teach a blueprint. What you care about on YouTube, hey, give me some stocks to buy. Let's look at this together and let's talk through how I would invest if I were brand new. Let's pretend I was just getting started. I had a 20-year time horizon. I didn't own a portfolio. I wanted some guidance on stocks to look at. I can't give you financial advice, but I can give you some stocks to look at, give you a starting point, a direction to look at, right? So I did this flow chart back in 2023. We did a virtual conference video series. We're doing another one in 2026. But all the way back in 2023, we were talking about semiconductors, of course, and AI. And really in August 2020, we called semiconductors the new oil. And we said that semiconductors are going to fuel all of these secular growth trends, whether it be e-commerce, electric vehicles, clean energy, SaaS cloud, cybersecurity, AI, quantum computing. And really you end up having these two pillars. So semiconductors, and this is going to be cloud and AI and quantum computing. But everything feeds off of semiconductors, the new oil. Without semiconductors, you can call data the new oil, but without semiconductors, you don't have data. So this is the pick and shovel. NVIDIA has been the play. Since 2019, we started this channel. NVIDIA has been one of our top picks. 2022, pound the table, must buy for any portfolio because it's going to benefit from a lot of these different areas. So if I'm looking at this and I say, all right, semiconductors, they flow into all these different things. The first thing you need to do is create a blueprint. Now, within that blueprint, there's a lot that goes into it. Like I want you to have some ETFs and I want you to have some DJIF, some dividend stocks. But again, for YouTube, you don't care about that. You want to know what are some stocks that I should be looking at buying? Well, here's the thing. Are you trying to find a stock that's going to give you riches overnight, get you rich quick, and Me Mania 3.0? Or are you trying to find a stock that you can hold for 5 and 10 years, a high quality business that you can invest into the company, be part owner, and own it long term? Those are very different things. So if you get in the market and you're treating it like a casino, you might look at different stocks. If you're trying to invest and create a long-term investing portfolio, I would first look at pick and shovels like semiconductors, again, the new oil. And so what is the best of breed? We're going to look at these sectors and say, what's the best of breed for each of these? First, after I've created my blueprint, I know that I want, say, 40% growth. I want to have 20% ETFs, whatever. Next, you're going to identify the secular trends that you want to be a part of that fit your DNA. So what secular trends, what growth trends do you think would be big over your time period or over a 5 or 10-year period? Of course, you're going to say AI, and this is something we've been talking about for years, right? You're going to say things like cybersecurity. You might be really into something like fintech, where I'm not so much into fintech. Maybe you are. This is a hypothetical, but if I were creating a portfolio today and I was 20 years younger, the first stock I'd still look at, and I know that it's $190 a share and it's expensive. I bought this stock under $4 in 2017. So would I right now go and buy it? No, because I already own it. But if I didn't buy it in 2017, would I consider it for a new portfolio? And the answer is yes. Now you have to be careful with a stock like this because, of course, once those margins start compressing, once you have revenue growth start slowing down, that stock is going to get hit. And so you're going to buy it at 190. It could sell off to 150, and you say, Eric, that guy's an idiot. Now, if you're thinking long term and you think NVIDIA is still going to be big, not only for GPUs, for phase one of AI infrastructure, but also robotics, autonomous vehicles, and much more, I would say NVIDIA is still one that I would consider a core type position, maybe 3 to 5%. And that would still be my first pick. It'd be my quarterback if I'm creating a fantasy football team. I think the AI revolution has a couple of years left. In fact, listen to this clip here from Dan Ives, what he says about where tech's going over the next couple of years.
It's trying to understand what the demand curve looks like, what the use cases look like. Even on software, names like MongoDB, Snowflake, of course, Massive AI, Palantir, and others. But that's what we're focused on. And as we continue to still see it accelerate, and the demand plays out. To me, that's why we stay pound the table sort of bullish going into year end. We've talked about NASDAQ 24 to 25,000, and that continues to sort of be our view. Still 2 to 3 years left in this tech bull market where we are in this AI cycle.
Now, within semiconductors, there are plenty of other stocks that I consider. I would look at companies like Broadcom, although it's not cheap. And that is a blend of software and semiconductors both. Taiwan Semiconductor, AMD. You have things like the equipment makers, Lam Research. There are a ton of stocks that we own within semiconductors from Micron and much more. So you can definitely explore that and find the semiconductor companies that that fit best for your blueprint, your DNA, your comfort level, your risk tolerance, all those different things. I'm going to go with NVIDIA for that first pick again, NVDA. Now, another area I think is going to be big is going to be cybersecurity. And when I look at cybersecurity, I think the best of breed is CrowdStrike. So I might consider adding some CrowdStrike. Now you ask, how do I buy these? Well, if I'm a new investor and I don't own anything, I might just do what we call periodic dollar cost averaging. Every single paycheck, I'm going to buy $100 of NVIDIA, $100 of CrowdStrike, and I'm going to do that over the course of a year or whatever it is to bake out the percentage allocation you want in that blueprint. Other names you can look at, of course, Zscaler and Datadog and Cloudflare, all these fired up well favorites. A recent buy in the community portfolio would be Rubrik. But if I'm looking for best of breed, I'm looking for pillars, I'm going to think something like Microsoft, although that's not going to be completely laser focused, right? Microsoft's a conglomerate. So if I'm thinking laser focused and I'm thinking best of breed for cybersecurity, CrowdStrike's a name that sticks out. Now, if say your risk tolerance is a little bit lower, maybe you end up with something like Palo Alto Networks. That could be a possibility. But I would go with NVIDIA for pick number one. I would go with CrowdStrike for number two. And I've been bullish on this stock since the channel was started. Back in 2019, when this thing first IPO'd, I've been buying and recommending CrowdStrike on this channel. And what are some other secular growth trends that we can benefit over the next 5 and 10 years? Right? We want to invest in these mega trends. We can ride these mega trends and we can profit in our portfolios. Now, one of my favorite stocks in e-commerce is going to be Amazon. You could look at Amazon. I think I would probably go with a Mercado Libre as a possibility as well. So depending on what you're looking for risk reward, I think the sleep well at night pick is going to be Amazon. I have very low concern about losing money if I invest in Amazon over the next 5 or 10 years. Mercado Libre, I also don't have a lot of stress. I think I'm going to make money on that, but I think that the risk is a little bit higher because the geopolitical uncertainty and so on. Of course, this can be Latin America focused. So is there one company that could cover all of these secular trends that we talked about? AI, cloud, digital transformation, e-commerce, and the number one stock on this list that captures all of these. Can you guys guess? What's it going to be? Amazon is going to be the king of this top 10 list. So it really depends on you. If you want to go for the safer pick or the one with more upside, more TAM, the one with more upside TAM is going to be Mercado Libre. I'm going to pick Amazon. This is one of my sleep well at night stocks, high conviction stock that I have no problem owning for the next 5 or 10 years. And you have to decide again, guys, what are you into? Semiconductors are underneath here where my picture is, but do you want to invest in crypto? Do you want to invest in metaverse? Do you want to invest in robotics, automation, healthcare 2.0, genomics? I mean, you could think of something like Intuitive Surgical if you're looking for a healthcare 2.0 type stock. Now, what I might do here is go against the grain. And again, this depends on your comfort level. But if I'm trying to build out a portfolio that has some diversification, and maybe I want some what we call DGIF, some dividends, I might actually go on for something that's not on here, that maybe isn't a secular trend. Okay, I told you that I wanted this to be diversified, and I've owned Costco since 2014 or 2015. It's been a great performer for the portfolio. It's one I'm continuing to hold. This is a nice breakdown to give you an idea. Of course, this is a much simpler business model compared to some of these other businesses, these huge tech conglomerates. And that's my fourth pick, Costco. Now, I'd prefer the stock lower. It's never going to be cheap, but I would just periodically buy it every single paycheck, build up these cores. Now, again, guys, I'm pretending that I'm much younger here, so I want to think like that, and I want to make sure I'm investing in stocks that have lots of total addressable market. Now, this is going to be a polarizing stock, a polarizing CEO, and it might not work out. This could be a huge bagger type stock. You could make 500% or even 1,000% returns over the next decade if things come to fruition, or you could lose money on it. And I think what I'm going to look at here is EVs, which also has moonshots, of course, for something like Optimus with humanoid robots. And then, of course, autonomous vehicles and robotaxis. So I'm going to go with Tesla as pick number 5. And again, if your risk tolerance doesn't suit that, you buy whatever works for you based on that blueprint that you designed. So you might say, hey, no way I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for something like an Oracle or a Microsoft. And maybe you pick an AMD because AMD might have more upside potential because it's a $250 billion market cap and you think it's going to be $1 trillion. Whereas Nvidia, it's going to have to fight really hard to get to a $10 trillion market cap to double from here. So those are 5 stock ideas that I would buy if I were younger. If you're a new investor, this is a great way to get you started. Now, I understand that these stocks aren't cheap, and that's the problem with the bull market. What are you going to do? Where people try to get cute is they say, well, I don't want to buy these high quality companies. I'm going to go out and buy these meme stocks that are going up 10x every week, it seems like, just for the hell of it. They're trading at 1,000 price to sales. It really doesn't make any sense. It's just you want to buy it because it's going higher. But these high quality companies, they could have pullbacks. But if I'm thinking 10 years out and I continue to buy in dollar cost average, that's how I'm going to generate, that's how I'm going to grow and sustain wealth over time. So if content like this is helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications. And if you want to go even deeper, take your game to the next level, join us in our private community. The link is below, patreon.com/firedupwealth.